Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the mat, everybody. Feel free to grab your blocks. We'll bring those in today just in case we want to weave them into our practice. If you have your straps, any other bolsters, feel free to bring those in as well. And we will start on our backs today. So we have a full moon coming on in tomorrow. So we're going to ground it out, offering a few poses to work with that moon energy. There we go. I think we've got all the bells and whistles off and ready to begin. So on our backs, let's take a moment. Allow the body to find support, bringing in bolsters where you need to this morning. As always, if the lower back is a little tender, feel free to bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Let the knees bend and just take a few breaths. Let's let the palms come face down. Relaxing all the facial muscles, soften the jaw. Start to observe your breath. Softening the inner edges of the eyes. Relaxing the jaw. Allow the inhales to become a little bit deeper. And as you exhale, match the inhale. So full release of the air. As the jaw relaxes, there's a little space in between the teeth, the tongue gently resting behind them. And I'm starting to fine-tune our Ujjayi breath this morning. Bringing in that soft engagement on the back of the throat. Lifting up the back corner edges very softly so that a half smile or smirk comes upon the face. Releasing from the palms anything that's weighing us down this morning. Anything that gets in the way of us connecting with our bodies, our practice. Releasing on the exhale. Find one or two more breaths, and then we'll bring hands gently to heart center. As the fingertips start to align, we'll go ahead and take a moment here, rub the hands together, asking ourselves what it is that we want to bring in as our focus for class this morning. Separate the hands and very gently cup the eyes. Let the thumbs come to the temple point. Continue relaxing through the arms. As the answers to that question of our focal point arise, take note and see how you can weave those things into your intention this morning. Remembering whatever we focus on, we manifest more of in our lives. So even if we're mulling over problems, situations, begin to envision the desired outcome. Focus on that. Release the hands, bringing them back to the heart. We'll go ahead and rub the hands together here, thinking of a prayer, a mantra, a feeling, some energy that we want to send out into the world. We'll go ahead and bring our hands, palms facing up towards the ceiling, and just take a few breaths here. letting all of your light, your love, your superpower releasing from the palms, sending it out into the world. One more breath. And hands very softly come back in front of the heart. Take a bow, entering our practice once again this morning. And go ahead, release the hands down alongside of the body. And now we begin. So if you haven't already, let's go ahead, start to bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. Knees will bend, lifting up towards the sky. Take your hands out from the shoulders to give you a little leverage here. And we'll start to find a few little sways, just starting to softly open up the lower back and the hip area. Move with your breath's pace as always. Customizing your practice, allowing it to fit to you, your body, and where you are today. Maybe take the eye gaze the opposite direction as the knees fall. If you want to bring that ringing all the way up the spine into the neck and the shoulders. And taking just a few more sways here, and then we'll bring it on back to center. Once those knees come back up, we'll go ahead and set up for our bridge pose. Heels come underneath the kneecaps. Toes are pointed straight forward. Roll the shoulders back here a little bit. Let the hands stretch down towards the heels. Let's go ahead. Lift the hands up nice and tall. Inhale. And then finding pressure into the feet. Exhale, lift the hips up. Hands come down alongside of the body. We'll go ahead and start to warm up the body this morning with these bridge pose lifts. Inhale, hands come up over the head as the hips drop. And exhale, hands go low, hips lift up. So think of it as the hands lift up, inhale, creating space for the air to come into the lungs. Exhale, hands come down, slowly pushing the air out of the body. Finding a nice engagement here of the glutes, the hamstrings. Tuck the chin in as you lift the hips up. Find that length on the back of the neck. Eye gaze comes across the belly, the chest. Let's do two more. And on that second one, go ahead and hold up in your bridge. Take a moment here to readjust your bridge. Sometimes I like to hold on to the edge of the mat, roll the shoulders back a little bit. That gives me a little leverage, and then release. Hands can continue to reach down towards the heels, or if you're able to, clasp the hands underneath the glutes. Let's go ahead, start to find a few circles here to the right. Finding that spiraling energy as we start to release that Kundalini and Shakti energy. Working with gravity, letting that energy slowly come up the body. And since we're inverted, that energy slowly coming up towards the crown. Let's go ahead and bring those circles opposite direction. These can be small little circles. Maybe this doesn't agree with your body. Omit the circles and just hold and bridge. 3 more to the left. Building that strength in the legs, the hips, slowly come back to center. We'll go ahead and bring it on down, nice and easy. Exhale. Let's draw that right knee up towards you. Hands come across the shin or kneecap. Softly stretch down through that left heel. Let the toes go up towards the ceiling. Softly draw back through the shoulders, finding a little space across the front of the heart. Three more breaths all the way down into that left heel. Keep the neck nice and long. Left knee softly draws up. Find a little rock here on the back of the body. Rolling over every square inch, trying to find all the way from the tailbone, all the way up to the base of the neck, all the way from the right ribs to the left ribs, across that lower back, in between the shoulders. Come on back to center. Keep that left knee on in, slowly extend down through the right leg. Let's keep the toes up towards the sky. Take a breath down the entire body. As you exhale, let the shoulders draw back, soften across the heart. Keeping the facial muscles relaxed. Finding 3 more breaths here, working on that descending colon, working on releasing, letting go what no longer serves the body or the mind. Let's go ahead and release. Take that left leg down. We'll go ahead and find a little length within the body. Hands go tall, feet go low. Maybe sinking into the heels, finding a little wiggle through the side body. And come back to stillness. Let's go ahead and take that left hand up over the top of the head, rolling over to the left side of the body. Coming into fetal pose here for a moment. Hug the knees on into the chest and just take a few breaths. Hand can stay in front of the heart, finding a little stability and balance on the side body. And after another breath here, we'll go ahead and slowly start to open the body up, finding some length. We'll stretch those feet down beneath us. Keep that left hand reaching up over the top of the head, coming into cat pulling its tail. Let's take that top right foot, stretch it out in front of us. Take that right hand to the right hip and see if you can twist the mid body. Start to draw that right shoulder back. Readjust the upper body. So if you need to walk the shoulders back just a little bit, find a few more breaths. If you'd like to come into full cat pulling its tail, take the right hand back. See if you can draw that base left heel towards the glute. And if you can catch onto those toes or the foot, beautiful. If not, don't worry about it. Come into the variation that works for you this morning. We're finishing off the last few days of this month. So if you're still wanting to work on that gallbladder meridian, see if you can grab onto that 4th toe behind you. Take that last breath or 2. Finding that nice stretch across the front of that left hip flexor, left quad. Breathing all the way down into that left knee. Go ahead and release. We'll bring that right hand in front of the heart. Legs draw beneath you. We'll roll to the belly. Take a moment here. Hands can come to the chest. Let's see if we can push it back and find a child's pose. Be careful of the lower back and the knees. Take your time once you make your way up. If you need to take a few cat-cows or readjust before you push the hips to heels, take your time. We'll find a few more breaths here. Feel free to lift the elbows, straighten the arms, or you can soften the upper body a little bit more, being a little more passive. Breathe all the way down the back of the body to the lower back and the tailbone. One more full breath. And then slowly coming all the way forward. Come back to the belly. So push it up. Maybe hug those elbows into side body if you want to work a little bit on the triceps and shoulders. Let's go ahead and reach the right hand up. Nice and tall. Roll over to the right side of the body. Hug your knees on into the chest. Give yourself a little hug here. Time for a little self-love. I want you to tell yourself your favorite thing about you. Something that makes you quirky, special. Fully embrace that part of you. One more breath and gently straighten out the body once again. So I'll show you from the back side of the body here. Once the legs go low, we'll go ahead and take that top leg, stretch it out straight from the hip, pushing into the sole of the foot. Once you find that leg extended, take the left hand to that left hip, twist the waist a little bit as you pull that left shoulder back. And if the upper body needs to be adjusted, feel free to adjust. And see if you can draw that base right heel towards the glute. Left hand, if you're able to, reach back for those toes. Start to feel that stretch down the front of that right leg. Inhale all the way down into that right knee. Again, relaxing the facial muscles. And if this doesn't work for you to hold on to that foot, you can just draw that heel in and then keep the hand to the hip here, still peeling that left shoulder back and getting a very similar stretch. We'll find that last breath or two. And then gently releasing. When you're ready, bring that left hand in front of the heart. Let's go ahead and straighten the legs beneath us on an exhale. Roll to the belly. Hands come to chest, and we'll go ahead and push it on back. Coming into a tabletop position. So once we find our tabletop, take a moment, spread the fingertips out wide, put a little pressure into the shins. And then we'll go ahead and find a few slow cat-cows here. Try not to strain the eye gaze. Try not to lift up too far as we move into those cat-cows, really keeping the focus in the core from shoulders to tailbone. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and come on back. Have a seat on the heels. We'll bring the knees together, coming into a little ankle stretch. While we come onto the ankles, we'll go ahead and take the fingertips and do our tapping. We're starting to get into the head, all of those beautiful meridian points in the gallbladder that come through the scalp. Get the forehead, and then tapping those eyebrows as well, right in the center. And then bring it down to the temple. And let's go ahead and bring it down to the jaw, just to soften and relax through the sinuses as well if you need. We'll go ahead and bring some heart tapping in this morning. Bring it across the chest. Bringing in a little heart healing, always. Breaking through any scar tissue, any self-doubt. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and swipe this morning from the crown of the head down the arms and shoulders, along that side body, underneath the armpits, maybe across the backs of the glutes, down the thighs if you want to get the backs of the calves, and then swiping down through the feet. Let's go ahead, come on back into tabletop when you're ready. We'll go ahead and tuck the toes, coming into our first down dog this morning. Hips lift up and back. Excuse me. So we'll take a moment, finding a little shake. Shaking it off this morning, releasing anything that we need to leave behind that gets in the way of us connecting with our practice. 3, 2, and 1. Take the feet wide. Walk the hands back, finding our ragdoll. Coming into that decompression of the spine. You can grab onto opposite elbows, fingertips to the mat or a block. And then finding just a little bit of a sway here to help loosen up all those little teeny tiny muscles that go along the spine. We'll come back to center, taking 3 nice full breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Beautiful job. Let's trace our meridian line. Fourth toe, top of the foot, outside of the leg, back of the glutes, front of the hips. Come up that side body as we walk it up to the top of the mat. So take a moment here as we start to bring the big toes closer together. We'll roll the shoulders back, let the palms come forward, find a little rock here, heels and toes. And actually for the rock, if you need to, you can find a little more distance in between the feet, a little bit more of a wider base. You can also bend the knees, get a little bit closer down to the earth, especially with that pull of the full moon energy. Take another 2 rocks here, just starting to ignite those little muscles in the feet and the shins. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring it back down. Feet come closer together now. Big toes are close. Inhale all the way up, eye gaze to thumbs. Swan dive it down as you exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale down, take that right leg back, coming into low lunge. Inhale it up, and if you'd like full lunge, you can keep that back right knee up off of the ground. We're going to twist to the left as we exhale. Inhale it up to center. Exhale, twist to the right. We'll find 2 more twists. Inhale up in each direction. Exhale left. Inhale up. Exhale right. 1 more set, each side. Inhale up. Exhale left. Inhale up. Exhale right. Inhale up. Hands come down, framing that front left foot. Let's take that left leg back, finding plank, modified on the knees or full plank up on the toes. Take a moment here. Finding your shoulders right above your fingertips. Tap the right, tap the left knee. Tap the right, tap the left knee. 5 more sets. Two more. Beautiful. Draw it back. Find your down dog. Shake it off. 3, 2, and 1. Feet go wide. Walk the hands back. Tracing that meridian line up. Glutes, hips, all the way up that side body. Beautiful. Coming back to the top of the mat. Roll the shoulders back. Palms come forward. Inhale it up. Eye gaze to thumbs. Exhale down. Swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale down. Plant the hands. Step the left foot back. Low lunge. Inhale it up. Take a few breaths here, sinking down into that low lunge. We'll take our twists. When you're ready, exhale to the right. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale up to center. Left. 1 more on each side. Inhale up. Right. Inhale up. Left. Inhale up. Hands come down. Frame that front right foot. Step it on back. Find your plank. On the knees to modify, or on the toes for full plank. Let's see if we can find those spiraling circles once again through the hips, just about 3 to 5 in each direction. And bring it on back. From here, push the hips back to heels. Let's find a peaceful warrior. Take a moment here. Bring your block in if you'd like, under the forehead. It's up to you how much engagement you'd like with the upper body. Arms can be straight through the elbows with your palms to the floor. Or if you'd like a little more softness in the upper body, relax the elbows. Take 2 more breaths here. Breathing all the way down the back to the lower back and tailbone area. And once again, lovingly getting out of our own way. Let's go ahead. Push it back up, coming on into our tabletop. Let's tuck the toes and find our way into a down dog once again. Once we find our down dog, feel free to pedal it out, find a little shake once again. Let's go ahead and find a little stretch here on the side bodies. So after you find a little bit of movement, we'll come back to stillness and soften the knees. Take your left foot, step it over the right. See if you can sink back into that left heel by straightening through the leg and pushing into that left palm. A little lean, a little weight towards the right side of the mat, breathing into that left rib cage. Find a few more breaths here. And then bring it back to center. Pedal it out. Remember our variation, if this is getting a little bit rough on the palms or wrists, you can take it from tabletop. So we'll go ahead, soften the knees from down dog, take that right foot, step it over the left. Modification, we just cross that foot over and look over that left shoulder. From a full down dog, we sink back into that right heel, press firmly into the right palm. Find that nice stretch along the right side body. 2 more breaths here. And then bring it on back to center, nice and easy. Let's go ahead, walk it on up, small little steps. Come up to the top of the mat as we open up those hamstrings. Big toes come together. Let's go ahead and bring up a little bit of that earth energy to the heart. 3 half lifts. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Nice long spine. Exhale. Third one. Inhale. And exhale. Let's go ahead. Reverse swan dive it up when you're ready. Inhale. Draw back through the elbows. Exhale. Open heart. Inhale it up. Beautiful. From here, let's start to take that right foot back. All the weight stays into that left foot. Right toes come back for just a little bit of a kickstand. Take a moment to find that length all the way from the toe to the fingertips. Nice straight line. From here, feel free coming a little bit further into our warrior 3 if you'd like. And if it's a little much for the shoulders, hands can come back to heart. They can come out to the side. They can come back towards the feet. Try to square those hips, so softly squeezing the hips to center so that right hip drops down just a little bit. 2 more breaths here, warrior 3. Lift it up. Let that right foot drop back behind you. Let's bring it on down to that right knee, slow lunge. Hands come back up over the head. Prayer position, left thumb crosses over right. Heel toe that left foot in front of the right knee. So we're narrowing our stance, saluting the moon, that full moon that's coming tomorrow. Try not to have there be more than about 12 inches between the heel and the knee, and bringing it down to about 6 inches if you can. That's going to make you feel like a little baby giraffe, learning how to walk. Start to engage those bandhas and start to curl it forward. Hips squeeze to center. Pelvic floor, Mula Bandha engaged. Bringing in that Uddiyana Bandha. That belly button drawing in towards the lower rib cage. And then the throat lock, Jalandhara Bandha. Chin into chest, forehead towards the kneecap. If you're a little wobbly, feel free to either separate your hands here on either side of the foot. You can also bring a block in front of you, prayer hands to the block. Full extent of the pose, fingertips come in between the big toe and the second toe. When all three bandhas are engaged, that's our Mahabandha, bringing that energy all the way up the spine to the crown. Release by pressing into that back right shin. Inhale it up. Beautiful. Heel toe it open to find that stable base, and then tuck the back right toes. If you need a little help, push onto that top thigh to lift up to lunge. Pivot to the right. Pivot to the right again. This time the right foot is forward. Come down onto that left knee. Start to heel toe that right foot, narrowing our stance. Squeeze the hips to center. About 6 to 12 inches in between the heel and the knee, and then start to exhale, round and curl forward, creating that Mahabandha, engaging Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha. Chin is in the chest, forehead towards the kneecap. With the engagement of all three of those bandhas, finding a little more stability. Remember your options for your hands. Frame the foot, prayer position in front of the toes or on a block. Take another 3 breaths here. Saluting that beautiful full moon coming our way, grounding down that energy. When you're ready, inhale, lift it on up. Beautiful. Hands come back down. Once we open up that foot stance, frame that right foot, tuck the left, and we'll step the right foot all the way back. 3-legged dog. Bend the knee. Circle through that hip a few times. Make sure to go in both directions. And then take that right leg back. 3-legged dog. Let's exhale. Bring it forward to pigeon. This one's dedicated to you, Miss Jen. Coming down into our pigeon pose. Continue stretching back through the left leg. Take a moment and walk the hands over towards the right. Find a little extra stretch through the front of that left leg and hip. Keep stretching back through the left toes. We'll bring it back to center. Hands under shoulders. Let's go ahead and find a little spinal lengthening here. Exhale, reach it forward. Inhale, lift the energy up the spine. Exhale. And inhale. Take 2 more. After that last lengthening of the spine, we'll go ahead and bring it on down into your pigeon pose. Walk it forward. Center yourself. Bringing in any props or bolsters underneath that right hip so we're not rolling over to the right side of the mat. Keep the neck long. Keep that back left toe stretched behind you. See if you can put a little pressure into the top of that left leg. Try not to let the knee lift off of the earth. And take the breath into the right hip. Relaxing the jaw. Try not to collapse down into the shoulders. Taking a moment here, breathing that forgiveness into our body in this pose, working with the affirmation. I lovingly forgive myself and I lovingly forgive others in my life. As I set down these animosities, I make more room for love and compassion. Also creating a little more space for some self-love and self-care. 2 last breaths. When you're done, we'll go ahead and come back up to the palms, nice and easy. Tuck that back left toe. Let's go ahead and take that right foot back. Take a moment here, find a little shake, getting blood flow into that right leg. And then coming down into stillness. Beautiful. When you're ready, left leg up. Take that knee through, come into lunge, and down onto that right knee. Inhale it up. Let's go ahead and salute the moon, coming back. Left heel comes in front of that right knee. Narrowing that stance and shortening it as well. Let's go ahead and dive it forward. All 3 bandhas engaged. Taking 4 breaths here. Pelvic floor squeeze, belly button in towards the lower ribs, chin to chest, forehead to kneecap. When you're ready, slowly lift it on up. Inhale. Widen that stance a little bit. We'll tuck that back right toe, lift it up to lunge if you need to. A little lift and help with the hands on the quad. Turn it forward. Turn it to the right. And bring that left knee down. Let's go ahead and heel toe. That right foot narrow and shallow, and dive it forward when you're ready. Coming into saluting, that full moon coming our way. That last variation, we'll find 3 to 4 more breaths here. Beautiful. One more full breath. Mahabandha engage, all that energy coming up towards the crown. Inhale it up. Beautiful. Hands come down after we widen that stance. We'll go ahead and step it back. Find your down dog, shake. And then left leg lifts up and back. Take a moment, drawing the heel to the glute, circle through that hip a few times. And then stretch it back one more time. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring the left knee forward. Find your way into pigeon. Hands under shoulders. Stretch back through that right leg. Walking the hands over to the left while you stretch back through the right toes. A few breaths into the front of that right hip. Walk it back to center. Again, hands under shoulders. Find that spinal lengthening, about 4. Inhale, reach the heart. Or exhale, reach the heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Tuck the chin. Inhale, lifting the back of the head. 2 more. Keep the elbows hugging in. Beautiful. Let's bring it on down for a full pigeon. As you walk the hands forward, excuse me, find your props or blocks underneath that left hip, left side of the body. So we're not rolling over towards the left side of the mat. Continue stretching back through the right toes. A little pressure into the top of that right leg. Try not to lift the knee off of the mat with that pressure. Keep the neck long, eye gaze to the floor. Try to stay strong through the shoulders, not collapsing into them. If you'd like to get a little bit lower, take the elbows out to the side. Still finding that nice stable base within the shoulders, but allowing you to get a little bit lower. Bringing back in our affirmation. I lovingly forgive myself and I lovingly forgive others. As I release these animosities and set them down, I make more room for love and compassion. 2 more breaths here. When you're ready, let's go ahead, start to walk it back up nice and easy. Begin to tuck that back right foot. We'll take the left foot back. You can find down dog or tabletop, your choice. And get that blood flow back into that left foot. Find a little bit of movement in whatever pose that you've decided to take your body into. Maybe you want to try them both out. A little shake, bringing that Shakti energy in to clear out through that left leg. And bringing the knees back down to the mat, nice and easy. So take a moment as we start to walk our way up onto those knees. If you'd like to bring in your blocks this morning, we're going to do a little bit of camel taps. So I like to bring the blocks just right on the outsides of the heels. Knees are right underneath the hips. Take a moment here. We want to try and keep those hips above the knees. So that little soft tuck of tailbone, roll the shoulders back. Let's take that right hand to the right thigh, inhale it up, tap it to the block or heel, and then bring it forward. We're starting to work on that strength all along that mid back. Starting to find that strength within the glutes. Balancing out that pelvic girdle from all those forward folds and down dogs. Take another tap on each side. And then bringing it forward. Start to find where you'd like to place your hands. A couple of options. We can bring the hands to the low back or the hips, fists, fingertips up or fingertips down. I like to take the hands back in a fist, interlacing all fingers and keeping the hands independent of the lower back as I continue to work on that lower lumbar strength. So wherever your hand placement is, we'll lift up tall through the spine. Again, find that soft tuck of tailbone. Start to lift your eye gaze up to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Keep the glutes engaged, push those hips forward. And if you'd like to come back, walk that eye gaze towards the ceiling. Your blocks are near your heels. And so if you'd like to reach back onto the blocks, feel free to. Hips push forward over the knees. Lifting up and out of the waist. Dive over that beach ball behind you. Neck is long, shoulders are down from the ears. 3, open that heart and throat. 2, learning to speak our truth with love. 1, abs engage, glutes engage. Slowly come back up. Drop the hips to the heels. From here, maybe bring one of your blocks in front of you. We'll take the hands as we come into rabbit pose, our counter stretch for camel. Hands come back. Let's go ahead, or palms face back. Let's go ahead and roll it up. Bring your chin into your chest. Round forward, forehead to kneecaps. As the heels appear, grab onto those heels with all 5 fingers. If it's a challenge to get the forehead to the kneecaps, bring your block in there. Make that your connection point. Use the arms to draw you a little bit deeper into this curl. Try not to strain, especially in that lower back area. Elbows bend, starting to draw the forehead in a little bit more. Final 2 breaths, chin to chest, squeezing and working on that thyroid area. If the forehead comes to the kneecaps, you're welcome to start to lift the hips up, taking yourself a little bit tighter into that curl. When you're ready to release, slowly drop the hips, begin to uncurl, lifting your chin up last. Take a moment, and let's go ahead and do one more set. So come back up onto the knees. If you need to prep or prime with the knee taps, feel free to do a few. And if you're ready for your camel pose, go ahead and jump right in, doing it mindfully. Find your hand placement. Shoulders roll back, opening across the heart. Lift up and out of the waist, glutes engage, hips push forward, eye gaze, walk it back. Taking 3 to 4 breaths here. Open heart, open throat. When you're ready to release, slowly lift up, abs engage. Once we straighten out the spine, release the hands. We'll bring the hips back down to heels. Take a moment, let that lower back adjust. And then bring the palms facing back. Thumbs are in towards you. Roll it on up, chin to chest, gently curling forehead towards the kneecaps. All 5 fingers wrap around the heels. Use the arms to draw the forehead to the kneecaps or into your block. Finding that space in between and underneath the shoulder blades. Taking 2 to 3 more breaths here. And if you'd like to lift the hips, taking the forehead into the kneecaps a little bit further, finding a deeper curl through the spine. When you're ready to release, slowly, slowly start to uncoil and releasing that chin last as we lift the eye gaze. Take a moment. Let the blood flow regulate so we aren't a little lightheaded, and then we'll slowly start to swing those feet forward, bringing them out in front of us. Once we take those feet out in front of us, let's see if we want to bring our blocks back into our practice. Let's go ahead and take the feet wide into a V shape. Hands, place them on the floor. Lift those sits bones up and bring them back down. That we find a little more space in between the sits bones. So when you're ready, we'll go ahead and bring our blocks here in front of us. If you don't have blocks, don't worry about it. It can really be anything, just even 2 spots that you choose on the floor. So from here, we'll start out with our first level. Take that right foot, tap it in and out. In and out with the left. So we'll alternate the legs, getting a little engagement here through that lower core. Breathe, don't hold the breath. I can see on my monitor my little toes popping like little rabbits on the bottom of the screen. Let's do 2 more on each side. Feet go wide. Let's go ahead and take the legs open. Again, press the hands into the floor, lift those sits bones, and let's fold it forward. Walk the hands, lengthen the spine as you inhale. Exhale. Come on down. Take about 5 to 7 breaths here. Try to keep the toes up towards the ceiling. Try not to let them fall forward in towards the center of the body. Draw the hips back as you exhale. Last breath or 2, fold it forward. Maybe you're down on the forearms or on your blocks. And slowly bring it back up. All right, so we're going to take the blocks out a little bit wider. Make sure that they're roughly even. Hands come to the hips. And we can either do the 1 foot at a time, or if you'd like to step it up a little bit. Hands come to the floor, so you're really supporting yourself. Feet in both at the same time. So let's see if we can do about 10. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath during this. Four more. Last one. Feet go wide. Woo. All right, hands in front of you. Lift those sits bones up and back down. We'll go ahead and walk it forward one more time. Feet are wide, hands walk in front of us. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, draw back through the hips and bring it down. We'll keep the neck long, eye gaze to the floor. Try to stay strong through the shoulders so we're not completely collapsing down into that area. 2 final breaths all the way to the tailbone. Toes towards the sky. We'll go ahead and bring it back to the palms. Walk it on back. All right, let's go ahead, lift the knees. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Hands come back behind us. Let's go ahead and find a reverse windshield wiper before we bring it all the way down to the back. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and swing to the side. Come on down to the back, however you'd like to descend or make your way there. Find a few sways. Knees go side to side, or maybe you want to draw the knees on up into the chest and gently rock. Go ahead and bring it on back to center. And finding our last pose of happy baby. We'll go ahead and let the feet come on up. See if you can reach for the outer edge of your feet. If that's not available, we can bring in our strap. Strap can go underneath the base of the feet, allowing us to draw down here, or just simply bring the hands to the outer edges of the ankles, maybe backs of the knees. We want to really find some flatness with that spine. Rocking a little bit from side to side helps to loosen up the hips. Bring a little movement here before we settle on back. I like to extend one leg at a time, getting into that hamstring and glute. One last little bit. And then we'll take those heels right on top of the knees. See if we can draw down into the soles of the feet. If you're curling up like a little shrimp, bring the hands down. See if you can draw the shoulders back. We're going to find the neck nice and long, all the way from the crown of the head down to the tailbone, nice straight line. Again, relaxing all the facial muscles. Finding that viewpoint as if you were a child, seeing things for the first time with a sense of wonder and newness. See how you can bring that into your day today, not taking things for granted. Two last breaths, happy baby. When you're ready, you can release the feet on down. Take a moment to stretch the body long. Maybe find a few more knee sways. bringing in a yogi's choice pose here. Maybe something I brought in that you want to do again. Maybe something that I omitted in today's practice that you really need. The beauty about yoga is that we take this time to slowly learn our bodies, to learn ourselves, what it is that we need, how we react to things, and allowing us to process on all levels. So as you take a moment here, just finishing off through your practice, finding yourself in a nice still space where you can either listen to our reading for today, or you can drift off, focusing on your own breath and coming into your own meditation. So as we come into our reading today, it is Being Kind Part 2. I think Monday I read the first part of this. We love what we attend, is the quote. And the reading begins. There were two brothers who never got along. One was forever ambushing everything in his path, looking for the next treasure, while the first was still in his hand. He swaggered his shield and cursed everything he held. The other brother wandered in the open with very little protection, attending whatever he came upon. He would linger with every leaf and twig and broken stone. He blessed everything he held. This little story suggests that when we dare to move past hiding, a deeper law arises. When we bear our inwardness fully, exposing our strengths and frailties alike, we discover a kinship in all living things. And from this kinship, kindness moves through us and between us. The mystery is that being authentic is the only thing that reveals to us our kinship with life. In this way, we can unfold the opposite of Blake's truth and say, there is no greater act than putting yourself before another. Not before another, as in coming first, but rather as in opening yourself before another, exposing your essence before another. Only in being in this authentic, only in being this authentic can real kinship be known and real kindness released. It is why we are moved, even if we don't admit it, when strangers let down and show themselves. It is why we stop to help the wounded and the real. When we put ourselves fully before another, it makes love possible, the way the stubborn land goes soft before the sea. Take a few breaths here and just let your mind and your heart absorb those words if they speak to you. Continuing in stillness with the breath and allowing your body to absorb the benefits of your practice. Inhale and exhale. Softening the inner edges of the eyes and keeping that jaw and the shoulders relaxed. Finishing up our practice in gratitude this morning. Taking the next 10 breaths as we focus on those things that we're grateful for. Breathing that energy into every single one of your cells. Thank you for joining me on the mat this morning. Thank you for setting aside this time for you to connect with you. The light in me honors the beautiful work that you do both on and off your mat. From my heart to yours this morning. Namaste. Thank you, my beautiful yogis, for meeting me on the mat yet again this morning, joining together in community. So you'll notice at the beginning of class, we were doing a little recording where it is recording. Whew, fun yoga here. So I've got the library being built on YouTube. Feel free to check it out. These classes will be there and available for you to watch at any time. And the infamous email should be coming out this week with a little more information on that. So thank you guys. Have a beautiful Wednesday ahead. Namaste.